the wedding would be a waste on me because there was no way I could plan a wedding as beautiful as hers. Am I the asshole for purposely booking the same wedding venue as my sister, but earlier so I can get married there first? My sister and I don't get along. Obviously, from the title. I can be honest and admit that she's much prettier than me, and that's something she's never let me forget. Both of my parents are pretty shallow, and they've always given her the best and put her first. An example, if we both had a school event at the same time, they both go to hers. This has left me pretty bitter and distant from my family. My boyfriend of 5 years recently proposed, and I was super over the moon, and straight out of a bad rom-com script, my sister got engaged right afterwards. It didn't really faze me other than serve as a slight nuisance since my parents were more happy and involved with her engagement. My mom has been helping her plan, but couldn't help me because my sister needed more help, and she couldn't devote the time that I deserved. Don't feel bad for me though, because my mother in law is a godsend and super sweet and genuinely treats me with so much love. You know, that's how God works sometimes. When your own family isn't the best, He blesses you with another one. Anyways, what really pushed me over the edge was when my sister told me that she booked her wedding at my dream venue. I know it sounds so annoying and cheesy, but I really cared about this location. It was sentimental to me. My grandparents got married there, and I've talked about wanting to get married there as far back as high school when I was just daydreaming. Swear to God, my sister doesn't give an F about my grandparents. But when I brought it up, my parents told me to stop being petty. In a fit of actual pettiness, I ended up booking the same venue a month before my sister's wedding. I checked with the venue, and there's no way my sister can move the wedding up. They're booked up. And if she changes the venue, she'll lose her deposit. My mother recently reached out to me and implored me to talk to my sister. I blocked her after the first call where she tried to ream me out. Apparently, my sister's really distraught, and my mom said the least I could do was try and work something out with my sister, especially over such a huge event. I said no, but my mom said I was an asshole for not even trying to hear her out for being so stubborn and petty. I know my mom is biased, but it got me thinking because I've been pretty staunch about ignoring her calls, and some of my cousins have told me that she seems genuinely upset. I'm not sure whether or not I was right or if I'm being a giant asshole by being stubborn. I just want to add that I'm wondering if I'm being an asshole for ignoring my sister, not really for booking the venue. My sister flat out told my cousin that she couldn't care less about the venue and booked it because it was convenient. But suddenly, when I want to get married there too, it means the world to her. I think not. My grandparents practically raised me since my parents were always missing out on my life events, so it was my grandma and grandpa who came to support me. I was always going to get married there one way or another. Okay, so there's an update. Let's see if she talked to her sister. I appreciate everyone who took the time to comment. Both the positive and negative comments opened my eyes. I talked it over with my fiance, and he basically said, "You are literally never happy when you talk about your family. Why do you keep putting yourself through that?" So I decided to try talking to them one last time before going no contact, just so I wouldn't have any regrets. Most of you could probably guess what happened. My sister said that if I got married at the same venue as her, I'd steal her thunder, and that I was selfish for making my own wedding all about me. I countered with the fact that I've been talking about getting married there for over a decade, so why would she think I wouldn't get married there too? Only for my sister to reply that the wedding would be a waste on me because there was no way I could plan a wedding as beautiful as hers. Yo, I'm sorry, your sister's a complete bitch. Like, what the F? The final straw was when my parents offered to pay for my entire wedding if I moved it. Yo, dude, why? Oh my God, your parents are assholes too. That's so fucked up. Like, my parents who couldn't be bothered to show up to my engagement party because my sister planned hers for the next day and they need time to help her prep, suddenly wanted to pay tens of thousands of dollars just to make my sister happy. I think that kind of broke me. Long story short, I told them that effective immediately, I was done being their punching bag and that they were no longer welcome at my wedding or in my life. They tried to play the symphony card on social media, crying about how it divided the family, but my grandparents really came to bat for me. They basically made their own post shading my mom, their daughter, saying that they were so thrilled to see their granddaughter, who they raised, get married at their venue, and that my grandpa would be walking me down the aisle. Wow, good for you for having such good grandparents. I'm glad they are able to see through the bullshit that their daughter is putting you through. That pretty much shut up most of my extended family. My cousin also let me know that my sister gave up her deposit in favor of changing the venue, which made me feel like it was proof that was never about the venue and just about taking something that mattered to me. I wouldn't have cared if we married at the same place though. I feel like I made the right decision because I've just felt so much lighter since. My fiance is also happy that I'm happy. Yay! I'm so happy! I'm just sad that you had to go through that kind of stuff. Like, what the F? Missing out on her actual family celebrations to celebrate her husband's death with his family is a dick move. Am I the asshole for calling my sister obsessed with her deceased husband? I, 35 male, oh, you're a dude saying this? Then yeah, for sure, you're insensitive AF. I, at 35 male, was one of those kids that knew exactly what I wanted to do when I grew up. In order to remain anonymous, I'll simply say I've always dreamed of doing job X at company Y. My whole career has been based on getting this job and working for this company. So needless to say, when I finally got an interview with company Y, I was ecstatic. After a very lengthy interview process, I received a phone call yesterday letting me know that I had gotten the job. I was so excited, I immediately called my parents, who were so proud of me. My dad suggested that we go out for dinner to celebrate at our family special occasion restaurant. They wanted to take me and my sister Megan, 33 female, out to celebrate this achievement. I was riding on cloud 9. I called my sister to tell her the news and the dinner plans. She congratulated me but told me that she wouldn't be able to come. My mood immediately dropped and I asked her why not. She told me that she had plans already with her deceased husband, Miguel's family. I explained to her that this was a serious achievement that had taken a lifetime of work and that I had finally achieved my dream. I told her that I needed her there to celebrate with me. She congratulated me again but told me that this was a very important family celebration and she simply could not miss it. For context, Megan and Miguel were married for a few months before he passed. It was really tragic and she has my deepest sympathies. I understand how important he was to her, although I don't exactly agree with how she handled his death. You cannot judge other people on how they deal with that kind of stuff. It's traumatic. It fucks you up. I understand her sorrow and sadness, but don't agree that she should be missing out on celebrating my achievements because her husband passed. She can and does more than any other day of the year, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. I got my dream job, and she of all people should know how much that means to me. You're acting like she's missing your fucking wedding day. It's literally a dinner for congratulations. Why don't you guys reschedule the dinner? Simple as that. She already has prior commitments. It doesn't work for her. If you really care that much, change the dinner date. You're acting like, well, it has to be this day. My dinner for me getting a job as a grown-ass adult. I have to have dinner today. Calm down, like be accommodating, compromise. This is the part where I may be a bit of an asshole. No, you've been an asshole so far in this post. I called her out and said that missing out on her actual family celebrations to celebrate her husband's death with his family is a dick move. I told her that she couldn't spend the rest of her life obsessing over Miguel and that at some point she needed to move on. Her obsession with him was ruining our relationship, and once again reiterated that I needed her to be there with me tonight. Obsession? What is wrong with the obsession? She's grieving. She actually laughed at me and said that, of course, she was obsessed with him. Duh, it was her husband. That's why they got married, because they're obsessed with each other. Life or death, like you're still gonna always love that person. What an inconsiderate piece of shit. She said a few other hurtful things before she hung up the phone. My parents and I ended up going out for dinner, just the three of us. Today, my sister texted me and said we could go for dinner this weekend if I apologized for acting like such an ass. But I honestly don't think I should have to when she missed out on my thing. She also said some hurtful things and doesn't seem to think that she's in the wrong at all. So I want to know, am I the asshole? Plus, it was just a one-night stand and Mark felt very guilty for it. Am I the asshole for telling my best friend that she's partly to blame for why her boyfriend cheated on her? I, 28 female, have a best friend, 28 female, let's call her Dana, who used to date this guy, 30 male, we'll call him Mark. They only started dating a little over 2 years ago, but I always considered them as relationship goals. Always acting so sweet around each other, with Mark being so caring and funny, I always thought Dana was very lucky to have him as her boyfriend. Yesterday, however, I got a phone call from a crying Dana telling me that she and Mark broke up after she found out that he cheated on her. I immediately rushed to her place to comfort her, still quite in disbelief that someone like Mark could do such a thing. When she finally calmed down, she told me that Mark confessed to having a one-night stand with one of his coworkers and he was too guilty to hide it from her. He tried reasoning with her, but she was having none of it and ended the relationship right there. As she should. Don't tell me you're trying to tell her to stay with the cheater. She then started talking about how that asshole tried to guilt trip her into staying with him by telling her that he only cheated because she was working all the time and felt emotionally neglected by her. And now, here's where I could be the asshole. I intervened and told her that maybe Mark has a point. She tends to be a little workaholic. She then glared at me and asked if I'm seriously taking his side. I said, I'm not taking any sides. I'm just saying that maybe you're partly to blame for the relationship problems that resulted in Mark. Plus, it was just a one-night stand and Mark felt very guilty for it. Mark feels very guilty for it, otherwise he wouldn't have confessed. She then asked me if I think she should take him back, and I told her that everyone makes mistakes and she shouldn't let just one moment of weakness destroy her entire relationship. She then told me that I'm unbelievable and told me to get out of her house. I was a bit taken aback by this, but I didn't want to cause any more drama, so I just left. I was waiting until today for her to calm down a bit before we talked again. But now I found out that I've been blocked by her everywhere. She was my best friend since high school, so of course I was very hurt to find out that she cut me off over an argument. While I don't condone what Mark did, I still think Dana is partly to blame for this mess, and now it seems like she's taking it out on everyone else who doesn't agree with her, which I'm afraid might end up leaving her very lonely. Am I the ass? Oh my god, yes, you piece of shit. Have you ever been cheated on? Then you can't talk. You literally can't talk. Well, he only cheated on you once and he feels really guilty. That's why he told you, and you guys have like had such a good relationship, so you should take it back. And then what happens the second time? If he loved what he had, moment of weakness, my ass. Don't give me that shit. Ugh. Get this pygmy girl out of here.